Do you still do pup cups?
Yes.
Okay, and then just one pup cup, please. Welcome back to my vlog. It's been a hot minute, around a month of not posting any vlogs. The reason behind that is kind of along the theme of this video. A lot of stuff that I was thinking about outside of just this hobby, so I wanted to kind of dedicate all my mental energy and mental space to that. But this vlog is pretty much kind of talking about how I recently quit my job. This past Thursday, I quit my corporate 9-to-5 job. Yeah, so for starters, for context, I worked as a sales analyst. Oh, I'm also in the car with my buddy Mojito. He just got groomed. But for context, I worked at a medical device company as a sales analyst. So I supported the field salespeople with like data analysis, and other, sales tool training and enablement. So I actually started there as an intern going into my senior year of school. So that summer going into senior year, I interned there, made some good friends and connections. And I was fortunate enough to be offered a return offer waiting for me once I graduated my senior year of college. So I was super happy about that. And of course, for me at the time, it was the most logical step, right? It was very secure. Salary-wise, it was nice. It was at a very prestigious company that I knew a lot of different alumni from my university had went to. And it was in a kind of related field to what I studied in school. I studied marketing in school. If you want to hear what I thought about college, you can go back to the last video. But I studied marketing in school. I kind of took that up as more of a broad field of study. So when I could experience more things within that field, I could kind of decide, like, more pinpoint what I wanted to do within marketing. This was more of the sales and data analysis piece, which I didn't necessarily love in school, but I wanted to work on that skill set and kind of create a more well-rounded candidate profile, I guess, just in case if I wanted to go to other companies after this, my first job, and it would be a good experience just to have that down. So, I took this job outside of school, for a lot of marketing majors, you know, this isn't a flex, but for a lot of marketing majors, it seemed like their salaries were either like not as high as they wanted, or they weren't trying to, or they didn't have a job lined up. So I was pretty fortunate, very lucky. And even now I'm coming at a point of like, I understand that, you know, I am lucky, I am grateful, and I am privileged to some extent. But that's just some context. I worked there, I think a week after graduating. I started my full-time job. I was there for almost right under a year. Yeah, and then just recently I quit my job. Thought about it for a while and really had to be honest with myself whether or not this job was right for me. Like I just said, I really had to be honest with myself, and I was thinking about this constantly as I was working. Is this job right for me? Is this what I want to be doing? Is this work fulfilling? Is this what I want to, is this the best thing for me right now? And again, I know, I'm aware, and I acknowledge, like, I'm pretty privileged right now. I don't have kids, I don't have rent, I don't have a ton of other bills except, like, I guess student loan payments and pet insurance and all that. So I was like, all right, like, the salary's great, like, the income's good, don't get me wrong, but I also was like really anxious about work all the time because I knew I wasn't giving it my all per se. And I'm a kind of person that always wants to be putting their best foot forward and like doing the most and like, you know, taking the most initiative. And because I guess I wasn't passionate enough about this role, I never thought I slacked. I did what I could do for sure. But because I wasn't super passionate about it, I felt like I wasn't doing as much as I should have, always. And A, that's just because I am hard on myself. And B, I'm just not a super like analytical person to begin with. So that was kind of another piece that, you know, I reflected on. Oh, additionally, yeah, and like I understand fully that like for some people, you know, if they have kids or families or, you know, not everybody's 9 to 5 is their dream job or what they love to do. But I'm young. I just graduated school and I already have this kind of jaded outlook on like, all right, I just gotta pay my student loan or whatever, and I was paying it really aggressively. But I was like, I could die tomorrow, and like me putting all, you know, going through all this financial stress for a student loan, for like a, you know, a loan payment, I don't need to be doing that. And I also, you know, a few other reasons I didn't love the work I was doing. A little bit of like management expectations or like culture expectations. I'm not here to talk badly about anybody I worked with. If anything, they were all great people, and I'll go into how my last day kind of was, reflecting on that. That was only like what, 3 or 4 days ago. But I'm not here to talk badly. I loved a lot of the people I worked with, and I made a lot of friends that I didn't even work with directly as well. Office expectations, the commute, I commuted an hour one way, so it was 2 hours 3 days a week, sometimes more with traffic. So like 2 hours, 2.5 hours at 3 days a week. If you do the math, I think that's like 14 or 13 days a year of my life is sit in this car just driving. So that was like kind of crazy to me to think about, and I didn't love that aspect of it. And then finally, and this kind of goes into like what I want to do next, but I wanted to explore other things that I was more passionate about, and I wanted to have the time and mental space. Because for me, you know, because I wasn't super passionate about everything that was like going on with what I was doing with work, I would come home and there would be this escapism, you know, mindset of, oh, I just want to doom scroll on social media because I am just working, you know, at a job that I didn't feel too happy about. But talking about my last day, yeah, it was kind of sad. I mean, I didn't really necessarily make it to be. It's like work is work at the end of the day, right? I put in my 2 weeks and it was cool. Like I told my manager, I told a few, like 1 or 2 people. My manager told me to like keep it tight for now because he wanted to communicate it to our broader team and the people I supported. So I was fine with that. And I didn't think I was that important enough. To be honest, I worked there for less than a year. So I was like, these people aren't that attached to me. Like I'm not gonna make it seem like I was this important person and draw out me leaving or quitting the job. But you know, my last day and even a few days before, you know, some people knew, and they were like, oh, we're gonna miss you, like your positive energy and spirit, like you made work fun, all of these things, and that made me feel good. But I think what was crazy and like kind of sad was a lot of people were in shock. I didn't tell that many people, right, as I said, but a lot of people were in shock when I sent out my farewell email, my typical corporate farewell email, grateful for all the experiences and everything. A lot of people like didn't know that I was quitting, so my phone was blowing up, people were calling me, people were messaging me on Teams, people were like honestly shook that I was leaving. And then it was just like a stream of like, we're gonna miss you, it was great working with you, all these things. And a lot of people, I don't know, it kind of felt weird because they were gassing me up, and it was weird to me because I'd only been there for less than a year. So it was just a lot of nice words, I guess. One of my buddies, he was like, yeah, you pretty much attended your own funeral. That's the comparison he used. And kind of, yeah, I mean, so many people were sending me emails about like, I don't know, I was talking to people I directly work with, and they were like, man, like I'm gonna miss you, like all these events, like you just brought the energy and the enthusiasm and all of that. But yeah, and I'm gonna miss a lot of people too. It was hard too, but again, I think this is just part of me figuring out my own life and living intentionally. And I'm a first year adult, and I'm just graduated in my early 20s. Like I gotta figure things out, and a lot of it too had to do with like identity, right? I'm a big identity guy. Like I think I talked about this in one of the previous videos, but I always identified with what I was doing, right? I was a student for my entire life, so I identified as a student a lot, and I always took every single advantage because I was like, oh, I want to be the best student, right? And it was hard because I think at work, since I had that 9-to-5 schedule, I worked all the time, and I wanted to identify as a sales analyst, and I think that was kind of hard to wrap my head around. A, because I wasn't super passionate about this identity that I had, and then B, it was more of that work-life balance. But I think as a young adult, I kind of want that work-life integration almost, where like I'm almost becoming the role like full-time, like, and I'm just so driven to continue learning more and doing more with the current role that I'm in. I'm young, I don't have too much responsibilities. I don't have too many responsibilities. And then something I started to realize with work, and this is a bad way of looking at it, and I know most people don't work at it, but it's like I started to have a hard time finding the incentive to work harder, right? With a salary. Because like I think the day-to-day through the 9-to-5, a lot of it was like doing the tasks that I was supposed to be doing, but I think a lot of the growth and development should come, like that's like all of the learning and understanding the business and the company and the analytics piece, that all comes with learning and self-motivated learning, and asking questions and whatnot. And I was like thinking, oh, I'm gonna do that like after work. I'm just gonna like grind and start to learn like the best way to support these people, not only with the reps and requests that I have going on in the day, but like I want to take time to really learn like how to be a good analyst. But then the lack of incentive was like, all right, but I'm getting paid the same as like other analysts who are doing, who aren't doing that. Or yeah, so I don't know, it was just a lot of just thinking and rethinking, and a lot of I kept on justifying like, oh, I'm supposed to stay in here and stay in this role because I went to college, I got a degree, I interned here, all of this. And it wasn't until one of my close friends and colleagues were like, you're not obligated to them at all. They could fire you at any moment without a 2 weeks notice. So like you owe it to yourself to figure things out and do what's best for you at the end of the day. And that really resonated with me. A good motivator for me to quit my job. Yeah, I'm kind of just rambling now, but in terms of what's next, still pretty young. I still live at home. I definitely want to pick up like a part-time job just for now, just to feel good about paying that monthly student loan payment and taking care of my buddy Mojito. But also, if you know me, I got my real estate license during my senior year of college and in Massachusetts, and then I also got my real estate license in New Hampshire over the summer. That's something that I've been, that's piqued my interest a lot, and I honestly really like the aspect of building. It's kind of your own business, right? There's no like leads being given to you. It's mainly based off of you and your networking and your hard work. And yeah, so I'm going into that career as a realtor, as an agent right now, and I want to see how I'll be able to do and give it my all. And again, like, this isn't a knock on a 9-to-5 corporate lifestyle. I think, you know, objectively speaking, the decision I just made is pretty stupid if you think about it. A very secure, a very stable job, but I don't know, I needed to do what's best for me. Honestly, maybe I just quit my job to do vlogging full time. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like I want to go into real estate now and see what I can do. And then again, maybe go back to corporate in a few years, give or take, when I know I have more responsibilities. You know, I want to settle down more. And in terms of what else is new with the vlog, yeah, I'm back to wanting to vlog weekly. You know, I know my goal was to vlog consistently and regularly this year, but again, I think this is just a hobby at the end of the day. Only what, like 90-ish people are subscribed or whatever, but this is fun. I like the whole journal aspect, and I want to look back and see why I thought about quitting my job. And I looked back at the video of my first work trip, and that was only a few months ago. So kind of crazy, kind of you know, journaling documenting the progression. But yeah, I'm gonna go take Mojito on a walk. If you made it this far, drop a comment about how, you know, what you think about my decision, I guess. I'm interested to hear your perspectives on the corporate 9-to-5 work life, or just work in general. But yeah, I'm gonna go take Mojito on a walk. My shout out, I'm gonna shout out Marvin. Marvin's my guy. I got him into vlogging. You know, we talked about cameras and how I vlog, and now he does like kind of cool little vlog montage, you know, music videos on Instagram. So shout out Marvin, keep going, man. I'm glad I got you into it, and hopefully we'll get some collab vlogs going together. But word, cool. Well, thanks so much for tuning in this week. See ya. All done? Oh wow, you actually finished. All right, buddy. It's done. It's over.